John Lusk here of Lusk Archery Adventures. Serious testing, successful hunting. Today I've got a cool broadhead to test, and it's going to be the first one that I do completely in 2026. With all my 2026 protocol, man, it's taken a while to get it all up and running, and my new place here in Colorado, and new testing, and new crossbows and everything. It's a lot more work than you might think, but I finally got it up and running, and this is going to be the first one that goes completely through the new testing, and it's the VPA/Archery Country. It's a collab between VPA and Archery Country bow shop hole punch, and this is the 150 grain version. Previously I tested the 100 grain and the 125 grain models, and they both did fantastic, but I'm eager to see how this heavyweight 150 grain model does. VPA is no newcomer to the archery business. They've been making broadheads for a long time, and I've been impressed enough with them that I reached out to them about a year ago and asked them if they'd give me a discount code that I could pass on to you. And they did. So if you use the discount code LUSK10, LUSK10, on any order on their website, you can save 10% on any of their broadheads, including the hole punch. So again, I'm going to be using this protocol for 2026. And for a detailed description of that, please check out the video that I posted earlier this year called 2026 Broadhead Test Process, and it'll walk you through all the tests I do, why I do them, how I quantify them, and so forth. For most of the shooting, I'm going to be using my Elite Eon Compound bow, and for some of the shooting, I'm also going to be using my Ravin LR XBow for the really high speed stuff. And for all the arrows, I'm using Bishop Archery FOC King and Fad Eliminator arrows. Okay, let's zoom on in here and take a good look at this VPA Archery Country hole punch 150 grain, and then put it to the test. Check this head out. Man, it spins perfectly well, and you've got 150 grains of lethality on the end of your arrow here. Let's talk about the materials. First of all, it's machined out of a single piece of S7 tool steel. S7 tool steel is an incredibly impact resistant steel. It's got like 5 times the impact resistance of the typical 420 stainless steel that most broadheads are made out of. This one's brought to a Rockwell hardness of 56 to 58. It's got a black oxide coating over it just to help it be a little more resistant to the elements. The cutting diameter of this one, it's the same as the 125 grain version. The 100 grain version is a little bit smaller, but the 125 and the 150 have the same cutting diameters. The difference is the length. The length of the 150 here is 1.15 inches. The length of the 125 is 0.98 inches, or sub 1 inch. So the length is where the extra weight comes in. So the cutting diameter is 1.25 inches, and then it's got these little bleeders, which these bleeders are definitely being put to use. Some people say, oh, they're insignificant because they're so small. Well, they are small, and they're not going to be as significant as these big blades, but they're cutting. Okay, they're definitely cutting. Anything that slides between these two blades, like any bleeder, smaller than the main blades, but it's cutting tissue. So it's definitely going to be doing something there and drawing more blood. It's going to be punching a hole, hence its name. And the cutting diameter of these smaller blades is 0.605 inches. So the total cut is 2.78 inches, 1.875 from the 3, 0.91 from the 3 smaller ones, and that's 2.78 inches. The blades are 0.047 inches thick, but that's after about a half an inch of solid S7 tool steel pyramid broadhead right there. I mean, that is just so incredibly durable right there. And then the blades, they can definitely handle being a little thinner after that impact is absorbed by that pyramid at the top, but they're still pretty stout, 0.047 inches thick. The price of these is $30 per broadhead in a pack of 3, $30 each. You can use my discount code LUSK10 to save 10% on that, and hey, that adds up. For resharp sharpening, I would use the Stay Sharp Guide diamond plates. And you can just take the Broadhead and lay it flat and start with the coarser ones and then work your way to the finer ones. Wait till you get like you got to get a little curl on the back. And once you get a little curl on the back, then you redo it on the other side. You lay it flat, and then you'll be getting sharper and sharper. But in a pinch, if you don't have your sharpeners with you, you can use the bottom of a coffee mug. You can use the top edge of your truck window. I've done that in a pinch. You just lay it flat and just sharpen away. I mean, that's the beauty of a 60-degree bevel in a one-piece 3-blade broadhead like this. You just lay it flat and just stroke away until you get a little burr on the back side, and then you rotate it and you get sharper and sharper that way. So really impressive broadhead. Looking forward to putting it to the test and seeing how it performs. The hole punch got the bullseye. The hole punch got the bullseye. It took 267 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 9.33 on a 10-point scale. And it's actually really good for a one-piece 3-blade head like this. It penetrated right at 8 inches. It took an additional 21 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 9.58 on a 10-point scale. It penetrated through 46 layers, which is a 6.6 on a 10-point scale. The head's in perfect condition after the 3 shots through the MDF. And it's still in perfect condition after the 2 shots through the steel plate. And you can see the holes here. They're just perfect triangular cutout holes. That's going to create a wound channel that's really difficult to close up. Here's the 150 grain hole punch after all the durability testing, and just fantastic durability through the MDF, through the steel plate, no signs of wear, into the cinder block, just no signs of damage, just cosmetic. Still has a very sharp tip and a decent edge to it. It's what you see is a perfect example of what you see when you start with an excellent material, S7 tool steel. Then you have a fantastic hardening process, machining process, and great geometry great geometrical design to the broadhead to maximize durability. So it gets a perfect score for durability and plus a 2-point bonus for not having any real damage after all the durability testing. This is the same head that's gone through all the durability testing and has just now been shot at 450 feet per second into a cinder block through the Ravin LR crossbow. And man, it held up just extremely well. Still spins perfectly well. Got a little bit blunted in the tip, and you see a tiny bit of edge chatter on one of the blades, but it's going to get a bonus of 0.9 points for getting a 9 out of 10 in this extra durability bonus round. Really, really impressive. So what'd you think? Wow. Okay. I knew it was going to do well because the 100 grain and the 125 grain did well, but I had no idea it was going to do as well as it did. I didn't know it was going to fly especially as well as it did, even at super high speeds out of the Ravin LR crossbow. I mean, it just did not have a flat area. It scored extremely well in each of the areas I tested. The only downside, if you were to say it's a downside, is a penetration. But man, if you've got enough juice to drive it deep, man, you can take anything in the planet with this thing. I mean, the durability, it might be the most durable broadhead I've ever tested. Certainly one of them. But every area, the flight, the cut size, man, and made out of S7 tool steel. I mean, it's just I could go on and on. It really impressed me, and it got one of the highest scores of any test I've ever done. And it's cool to see kind of my process broken, so to speak, or mastered almost with this very first test of 2026. So props to this Broadhead for doing it. But hey, you check out the score sheet and see how it performed in the areas that matter to you the most, and see if it might be a good fit for you. And stay tuned for the overall cumulative score as well as the corresponding Lusk grade. And also stay tuned for a list of all the discount codes that I can offer, like for VPA, Lusk 10 saves 10%, so you can save more money in the field. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you next time.